Welcome to our channel. Today we will listen to my audiobook series, My Danger Boyfriend. Chapter 4. Mayuri was standing in front of Vishamba Rana, and at this time her hands and legs were trembling because she was afraid of Vishamba Rana. When Vishamba Rana asked for the file, Mayuri got scared. She was so scared that she forgot to give him the file. When Vishamba Rana asked for it, Mayuri quickly handed over the file in her hands to him. Once he checked the file, he stared at Mayuri and asked who had prepared this file. Mayuri got scared and said in a panic, "Why, sir? What happened? Is there any problem?" "First you tell me who prepared this file." When Vishambaji said this strictly, Mayuri got scared. She thought that she might have made some mistake, but this file was checked by Kunal sir. Then how could Mayuri make a mistake? Did Kunal sir not check it properly? Then Mayuri remembers that Kunal sir had seen the file only once, but Vishambaji had not checked it properly. They must have read the file, and if there is any mistake, they would have come to know about it. Mayuri accepts her mistake, and lowering her face says in a soft voice, "I have prepared this file, sir. I am sorry. If I have made any mistake, please tell me, and I will correct it." Vishambaji says with surprise, "You have prepared the file. This file of 1 year's profit has been prepared by you alone. No one has helped you in doing this." Mayuri shakes her head in nervousness and says, "No, sir. Actually, from Monday, our new CEO is going to join the office. So for this, the whole office is working overtime and working together. For this, everyone has a lot of work. I also have to prepare this file. I just met you to prepare it, and in 1 hour I have prepared as much as I could. Rest you tell me what is the mistake. You have prepared this file in 1 hour. "That too alone," Vishambaji says with surprise. Then Mayuri, getting nervous, quickly nods her head in yes 2-3 times. Nikhil quickly tells Mayuri to save her from Vishambaji's scolding. "Actually, boss, this girl has just joined the office, so she probably does not know much, sir. The entire office is working very hard for the joining of the new CEO, so probably due to shortage of time, she must have been given this work. If she has done any mistake, then please forgive her. I will call account head Kunal Ji right now. He will prepare this file properly." Vishamba Ji looks at both of them with surprise and says, "Hey, I am not saying anything. Rather, I am surprised to see that this girl has prepared this file in 1 hour. That too alone. This thing in itself is surprising, that the file for which a whole team was formed, she has prepared it alone. That too without any mistake. Well done, child, you have done a very good job. I am impressed." Hearing the praise from Vishambaji, Mayuri's face lights up with a smile, and Nikhil also takes a sigh of relief. Vishambaji keeps that file with all his ready files and says, "I need this file very much on Monday. It is very important for this file to be there while signing the power of attorney. You have done a very good job. Now you can go home." Mayuri was happy, but she said with surprise, "Sir, how can I go home? Our whole department is working overtime. Tomorrow is Sunday, so the office will be closed, and on Monday all the departments are working overtime for the new CEO." Vishambaji, taking out a packet of cigars from his drawer, says the whole department is working. The work you have done alone cannot be done by the whole department together. That's why you go home on leave and come on time on Monday, because if there is any query related to this file, then he will have to tell you. Mayuri looks at Nikhil smilingly. Then Nikhil quickly signals Mayuri to leave with his hands dot. She comes out of the cabin happily and goes to her department happily. Her meeting with Vishambaji was not that bad. Yes, he was a bit strict. But seeing her good work, he praised Mayuri, and this was a matter of great pride for Mayuri that Mayuri had given her best in front of the person whom the entire office fears. By now, Kunal and Manav also came to know about Mayuri's work. and it was also known that Vishambarji liked her work so much that he has given Mayuri the permission to go home early. Manav's anger on Mayuri had increased. He was staring at her in anger, but he could not do anything in the presence of Kunal Sir. Mayuri takes her bag and moves towards the lift. Kunal Sir, seeing her, says smilingly, "I am proud of you, Mayuri. You have done a very good work. I am proud of you that you work in my department. You have proved that you are a promising girl, and I have not made any mistake by choosing you in the matter of accounts." Mayuri smiles and nods her head in yes and says, "Thank you, sir. But sir, the whole department is working, and I am going home alone. I am not feeling good." But Kunal, sir, says no, not at all, because it is boss's order that your work is over, and now you can go home. Nobody can avoid his order. You go home. It's okay. We will manage everything. Anyway, your work is done, not ours. But come on time on Monday. Mayuri becomes happy and nods her head in yes. Mayuri comes out of the office and starts waiting for an auto, but then her phone in her purse starts ringing. She takes out her phone and sees that it was a one-liner number. Mayuri thought the number was familiar. She received the call, and a girl's voice says, "Hello, Mayuri, I am Aparna." Mayuri is surprised to hear Aparna's voice, because Aparna is currently a receptionist at Deshmukh Textile Company. When Mayuri's father was alive, and when Mayuri used to go to her company with her father, she would often meet Aparna and would talk to Aparna a lot. But after her father passed away, and after Veronica threw Mayuri out of the house, she had no connection with the company or any of the people there. Suddenly seeing Aparna's call, Mayuri says in surprise, "Aparna, you have called me, and from where did you get my number? Is everything all right? Are you all right?" Aparna says with sadness, "Yes, madam. Otherwise everything is fine in the company. But something is not right with me. I need your help. When the owner was alive, he never considered us as his employees. He always treated us like his children. But since Veronica Madam has come, it is not easy for anyone to work with her. Veronica is doing whatever she wants in her father's company." Hearing this, Mayuri gets angry and says in anger, "Don't worry, Aparna. I have submitted the case in the court. The hearing will be done in a few days, and after that, I will get all of father's property back, and whatever damage Veronica has done, I will fix it after I come back." But Aparna says with great sadness, "I trust you, Mayuri ma'am. You will win this case, and once again you will take care of this company, which was built with the hard work of Bade Sahib. But till then the situation is very bad. Mayuri madam, you know that my fiancé also used to work as a security guard in this company." Mayuri remembers that Aparna used to work in this company with her fiancé. Aparna is a worker there. She was a receptionist while her fiancé worked in the security department, and to celebrate their engagement, sweets were distributed in the entire office, which Aparna happily gave to Mayuri as well. Mayuri nods her head and says, "Yes, I remember you used to do the same job with your fiancé. But what is the matter? Why are you upset?" Aparna said while crying. "Actually, madam, 2 days ago my fiancé had gone to a club with Veronica Madam to provide security to her. But there Veronica Madam gets into a fight with someone, and when my fiancé comes forward for her safety, Veronica Madam puts all the blame on my fiancé to save her reputation and fires him from the job. You know that our family has agreed to our marriage with great difficulty. Now after this, if he will not have any work, then our marriage will not happen. Madam, please, I am asking you for a little help." Mayuri was very angry, but at this time she could not do anything. What was in her hands? How could she give hope of a job to someone else when she herself is doing a small job somewhere? Mayuri takes a deep breath and then starts thinking something. Then she remembers something and she quickly says, "Aparna, look. For now I cannot help you, but I have a friend, Nikhil. He can help you. He works in the security head position of a big company. I will tell him if there is any place for the fiancé, then he will definitely tell us." Aparna says thank you, and Mayuri hangs up her phone, but she herself was upset. Veronica had started being very arbitrary. First, she sold her father's sugar company, and now she is firing her father's most trusted people one by one. Mayuri goes home. Today was Saturday night. After going home, she and Shruti had a lot of fun that night. Late night, they went to Chowpatty and had golgappas, and they ate lots of snacks and spent the whole Sunday sleeping, but like every lazy person, they both had to go to work on Monday. Good morning, Mayuri, the new CEO has come. As soon as he entered the office, the other colleagues working with Mayuri said this. Kiran Didi was also standing with them. Mayuri quickly goes to them. She was very nervous. The new CEO has come to the office for the first time, and Mayuri is late today, thinking that she might get scolded. Her nervousness increased. Mayuri also goes and stands where all the girls were standing and softly tells Kiran Didi, "Have you seen how the new CEO looks?" Kiran Didi quickly says, "I don't know. I have seen him from a distance. He was walking amidst security. I could not see him properly. But I have heard that his meeting is going on with MD Sir right now. And yes, Kunal Sir has asked us to be ready. But these stupid girls are understanding the meaning of that preparation in a different way. Look what they are doing." Mayuri looked back and saw the girls and was surprised. Some girl was grooming her hair. Some were applying another layer of makeup on their face. Some were fixing their lipstick. Some were busy exposing their cleavage more. Mayuri gets surprised to see them like this, and surprisingly asks Kiran Didi, "Why are all these people getting ready?" Kiran Didi beats her head and laughingly whispers in Mayuri's ear, "Because Kunal Sir told us to be ready. But by being ready, he meant that be ready for your work. If any work related to office has to be taken up with the new CEO or MD Sir, then we should be ready for that beforehand. But these stupid girls understood that Kunal Sir is asking them to get ready. You have been busy grooming yourself for the last half an hour. Where did you go like this? You have a tilak on your forehead." Mayuri touches her forehead slightly and says, "Oh yes, I had gone to meet my mummy." Mayuri was wearing a simple suit salwar, and her makeup was also very simple. She had applied kajal in her eyes, lip gloss on her lips, and a golden colour bindi on her forehead, over which she had applied Matarani's tilak. When Kiran Didi saw that tilak, she asked her, "Hey, why is this tilak on your forehead?" Mayuri looks at Kiran Didi and says, "Actually, I had gone to meet Mummy." When Mummy Kiran Didi asked with surprise, Mayuri smiled and said, "Yes, sir." She nods and says, "Yes. Actually, I went to the temple of Mata. My mummy is there," Mayuri said. But Kiran Didi did not understand anything. How can Mayuri's mummy be in the temple of Mata? She was looking at Mayuri with surprise. Seeing her surprised, Mayuri laughs and, showing the wallpaper of Matarani on her phone, says, "Here is my mummy." Kiran Didi laughingly says, "Hey, is this yours? She is everyone's mummy, but why are you calling her mummy? She is Matarani, isn't she?" Mayuri smilingly nods her head in yes, and then looking at Kiran Didi, she says, "What is it actually? My mummy passed away in my childhood, and after that my father used to take me to the temple of Matarani every week to see her. But then I was very small. All the children used to come there with their mummies, and I also used to search for my mummy among them. One day I asked my father that where is my mummy, I want to meet her. Then my father, showing the idol of Matarani, said, there is your mummy. She is everyone's mother, and everyone is her child. So if you live like a child, if you talk to her, she will definitely answer your questions. From that day onwards, I have considered her as my mother. I share everything, good, bad, right and wrong, with my mother." On hearing Mayuri's words, Kiran Didi starts looking at her smilingly. Mayuri comes back to Kiran Didi's office area. Kiran Didi goes to her workstation and starts working. Mayuri was going to her workstation, but she stops and starts taking coffee from the coffee machine. But she saw that all the important people, that is Kunal Sir and Manav Sir. Both of them were not present there. She asks in surprise, "Where did these people go?" Then an employee standing nearby says that they have gone to the cabin for a meeting with the new CEO. Mayuri gets shocked, but then she shrugs her shoulders and takes her coffee cup and goes to her cabin. She had just switched on her computer when her cabin door opens and Manav comes inside and says, "You have come, let's go quickly with the new CEO. There is a meeting. Mayuri is shocked and standing up in surprise says, "What is the meeting? But why is it my meeting? What have I done?" Manav Sir angrily says, "You were the one who placed the accounts file in front of MD Sir. Now they are not able to understand that account. Go and explain it to them properly." Mayuri gets scared and starts looking at Manav nervously. Manav stares at Mayuri and says, "Now go and clean up the mess you have created. And yes, the new CEO is very short-tempered. Talk politely in front of him, and yes, don't go empty-handed. Take coffee for the new CEO." Mayuri's fear increases even more with Manav's words, and she starts looking at him nervously. Mayuri had no other way. She slowly leaves her cabin and then goes to the president's floor. Her condition worsened after standing in front of the CEO's cabin. She slowly turns the door handle, and while entering inside says, "I am coming in, sir." On hearing this voice, he turns his face in surprise and looks back, and at the same moment, Mayuri also sees Takshak. Mayuri's eyes suddenly widen and her mouth opens in surprise. She looks at that person while blinking her eyes 2-3 times and tries to recognize him. She wonders whether she has been deceived or not. Is this the same man who looks familiar to her, or is it just her imagination? Mayuri's legs were trembling slightly, and the coffee cup in her hands was also shaking slightly. She was looking at Takshak sitting in front of her with her big eyes, who had an attractive look on his face at this time, and was wearing big sunglasses like glasses. His hair was perfectly set. But still, Mayuri recognized Takshak even in this personality, even though his condition was very bad that night, and he appeared to Mayuri with a very dejected face. But at this time his face was completely normal. There was a different, slight glow on his face. With that smile and those glasses, he looked even more handsome. Mayuri did not even realize that she was holding hot coffee in her hands. She was looking at Takshak in such a hurry that her hand slipped and the coffee fell on her hand. On Visham. "Ouch! Mayuri, are you okay?" Kunal Sir said, expressing concern. Mayuri gets surprised. She looks at Takshak in surprise and then looks at Vishambar Rana. There was no expression on Vishambarji's face, but Takshak's gaze became a little sharp, but then he turned his face as if it did not matter to him. Seeing Takshak behaving in this manner, Mayuri becomes sure that Takshak has not recognized her. "Kunal, quickly tell a cleaner to clean this place. And Mayuri, do you need to go to the hospital? Coffee has fallen on your hand," Vishambarji said, looking at Mayuri. Mayuri looks at Vishambarji in surprise, and then she starts looking at Takshak, who still had no expression on his face, and neither was there any reaction. He was just looking at Mayuri with cold eyes. Mayuri starts looking at Takshak in surprise. His behavior is very different from that day. That day he was writhing in pain, and pain was visible on his face too. But today he is sitting in front of her with a different attitude. Then Mayuri remembers that the new CEO is the grandson of MD Sir, and if he is the grandson of MD Sir and such a big person, then why was he lying in the hotel room in that condition without any treatment? Mayuri was thinking this. "Mayuri, do you need the first box?" Kunal Sir said while bringing Mayuri to consciousness. Mayuri, who was looking at Takshak in surprise till now, quickly regains consciousness and then says, shaking her head, No, no, sir. I am fine. Nothing has happened to me. A little coffee has fallen, but it was not too hot. I am okay. When Mayuri said this, Takshak exhaled deeply and looked at everyone with irritating eyes and said, "If you are done playing Doctor Doctor, then let's continue the meeting." Mayuri gets scared and stands at her place. She slowly looks towards Kunal Sir, and he gestures her to sit on the chair. Mayuri goes and sits on the farthest chair where no one was sitting, and from there she could see neither Takshak nor Vishambar Rane. Vishambar Ji, looking at all the senior staff present there, said, "This is my grandson, Takshak Rane. And from today he is the new CEO of this company, but becoming the CEO of this company does not mean that I am resigning from my post. Rather now this company has not one but two owners, because Takshak has just joined the business, so it is important for me to stay with him, to save him from the difficulties of the business, because he is not fully ready yet." Except Takshak, no one else understood what Vishambar Rane said. In fact, Takshak had understood very well that his ability is still being doubted. The way in Mafia, everyone gets their work done in his name, but Vishambar Rane's hand is behind the work. Here also he wants to do the same. Takshak will do the work, but the main hand in it will be of Vishambar Rane. Takshak had a sarcastic smile on his face. He never got what he wanted, and he knew the reason for this very well. He just did not want to reveal it in front of anyone. Vishambar Ji signed the power of attorney, and after that, looking at everyone, said, "Does anyone have any question?" No one said anything, and everyone agreed to this. Vishambar Ji closes the pen again, and while closing the file says, "Okay, if this is so, then on Friday we all will go to a staff dinner where all the important people of our department will be present. I want the new CEO to meet his staff and know more about them so that it becomes easy for them to work. I have something to say to him," Takshak says, while looking at Vishambar Rane. Then he starts looking at Takshak with his sharp eyes. Takshak, who is with his, he was sitting with one leg crossed over the other, and his feet were resting on each other. He was moving his thumb. His shiny shoes were seen moving. He was keeping his other hand on the table and was playing a tune on the edge of the table with his fingers. Looking at his fingers, he said, "I want that it should be announced in the press conference on Friday that I am Vishambar Rane, the new CEO of this company." Before he says anything or interrupts Takshak, Takshak stands up at his place and while adjusting his tie says, "Ladies and gentlemen, being your new CEO, I make my first announcement that on Friday evening in our dinner party, a conference will be held in which everyone will be told about me. I hope you all will be present." Takshak says this, looking at everyone, and leaves from there the very next moment with his departure. Vishambar Rane's eyes became stern and his fists tightened. But Mayuri did not understand what to say and what to answer. She did not even say anything. And so many things kept happening here. Vishambar Ji stands up from his place and looking at everyone says that the meeting is over. Everyone stands up at their place and one by one goes out of the conference room. Kunal Sir quickly comes to Mayuri. And he says, "Mayuri, coffee has fallen on your hand. Look, you have blisters. I think you should go to the doctor." But Mayuri quickly said to Kunal Sir, "Kunal Sir, I was told that there is some problem regarding the accounts in the meeting here, but no one has asked me any question here. Then why did you call me?" Kunal Sir puts a wet tissue paper on Mayuri's burnt hand and says, "Hey, he was the head of the other department. He was facing some problem in your account." But before anyone could clear it, Manav got up and left, and says, "The person who made this file, I will send him here. But before you could come, our new CEO, that is Takshak Sir, himself saw that thing in that account and cleared everyone that the file is absolutely correct. People were reading it in the wrong way." Mayuri gets shocked and starts thinking in surprise, seeing Takshak's personality. She could give Takshak only one name in one word: Devil Mayuri leaves the meeting room. After coming out, she was going straight towards the lift. She had to go to the medical room so that she could apply something on her burns. But when she went in front of the lift, suddenly the bodyguard standing there stopped Mayuri by putting his hand in front of the lift. Mayuri gets shocked and says, "What is the matter? Why are you not letting me go?" The personality of those two strong bodyguards was exactly like wrestlers. Both of them were wearing black clothes. They had black glasses on their eyes, and they also had Bluetooth in their ears. She looks at those two guards with surprise. After the lift stops, both the guards look at Mayuri and say, "You cannot go first. The boss will leave from here only after that you can use this lift. Wait for a while." Mayuri hears this and gets shocked. Then she heard the sound of footsteps in her ears. She turns back and looks. Takshak was coming, talking to Vishambarji and Yug, and Nikhil were right behind him. Mayuri quickly moves aside and stands on one side so that those people have space to go. So to receive, they all come near the lift. The lift had already opened, but as soon as the lift opens, Takshak enters the lift with Vishambarji. Then his eyes fall on Mayuri. He looks at Mayuri for a moment and then goes inside the lift. When Mayuri sees Takshak looking at her, she quickly lowers her face. Whether anyone noticed this or not, but Yug had noticed that Takshak is looking at Mayuri. He looked at Mayuri for a moment, and he stops at his place for a second, because Mayuri's face seemed familiar to him for a moment. But then he goes inside the lift. Nikhil also enters the lift after seeing Mayuri. Yug did not remember Mayuri because he had only seen a glimpse of Mayuri in the CCTV footage, that too for a short while. And after that, the pen drive disappears. That is why Yug could not remember where he had seen Mayuri, but he had seen Takshak looking at Mayuri. Takshak comes to the parking area with Vishambarji. A bodyguard quickly opens the back door of the car, and Dadaji, while sitting in it, he says, "I have explained the whole work to you. I hope you will do your work properly." Takshak nods yes and closes the door of the car. Takshak comes back to his cabin. Nikhil was standing near Takshak, and Yug was sitting in front of him. Takshak was thinking something in surprise. Yug saw Takshak thinking like this. So he said to him, "Do you know that girl?" Takshak looks at Yug in surprise and says, "Which girl? What are you saying?" Yug smilingly says to Takshak, "Hey, the same girl who was standing near the lift. You were looking at her. Do you know her? Look, don't deny that you were not looking at her because I saw you looking at her. And as far as I know, you have got such training that no girl can impress you. This is so that no enemy can use any girl as a medium. They should not use you. That is why, till date, you have never been impressed by any girl, nor have you paid attention to any girl. But today you stopped in front of the lift and were looking at that girl for a moment. Do you recognize her?" Takshak gets into thinking. He could not deny what Yug said. But what he felt was also something different. That night, when he came to the hotel room injured, he felt a fragrance around him, and that fragrance was something different. Takshak looks at Yug with surprise and says, "I find that girl's fragrance familiar. Ha ha. What did you say? Her fragrance. I mean, you are talking about that girl's fragrance. And do you know about girls' fragrance? Do you know that girls have a scent? Leave it. Let's talk about something else. Even if you have seen it somewhere else, don't say this about the scent to anyone else. Otherwise you will be made fun of there." Yug said this to Takshak jokingly. Takshak started staring at him. Nikhil also found this strange, because here they were talking about Mayuri, and Nikhil knew Mayuri, even if not directly. But she is his girlfriend's friend. That's why Nikhil knew about Mayuri. And in this office, he will not let anything wrong happen to Mayuri. Hearing Yug's words, Takshak turns and looks at him and says, "Stop your nonsense. Listen to what I am saying. That night in the hotel room, the girl who saved my life, even though I am not able to remember her face, I remember her scent, and this girl also smells exactly the same. Does anyone know this? It is a coincidence. And if this is a coincidence, then listen to the second thing. I tried to remember that girl's face, but I couldn't remember. But I heard her voice. I was in an unconscious state at that time and couldn't see her. But I had not become deaf. I could hear her voice. It was a very sweet voice, and this girl's voice sounds exactly like hers. Nikhil and Yug, both of them, start looking at Takshak with surprise. Then Takshak takes a deep breath. While leaving, he says that when that girl came into the cabin, then only I saw all these things. I had noticed some things, but I kept quiet at that time because if I had shown any reaction there, grandfather would have gotten suspicious. He would go and get all these checked, and then he would find out about grandfather's kabari. He would have checked all this first. He would have done it right now. She must have gone to the medical room and some hot coffee fell on her hands. She must have gone there to get her treatment when she comes back. I would like to meet him, Takshak said in a flat tone. But for this. Nikhil comes forward quickly and bows his head slowly. He says, "I am sorry, sir, please leave that girl. She is a victim of circumstances. Actually, I know her. She is mine. He is girlfriend's best friend, and he has just been transferred here. Before this, she was working in some other job in another department. He had a job there, but he is about to lose it. But this job is still very much for him. I got it with great difficulty, sir. Please leave it to me. You have no—" There must have been a misunderstanding. That girl cannot be the one who— I'm looking for the girl who was with me that night. She was in the hotel room with you, and we will find her soon, but— Sir, I don't think that Mayuri is that girl. Mayuri hears this name. Takshak gets surprised and starts looking at him and thinking, I wonder where he has heard this name. This name came to him once. It seemed he had heard it somewhere, but he did not know where it was. So much happened that everything was slipping out of his hands, was leaving, and he was so engrossed in his own life that I was not able to concentrate on other things. Outside Mumbai city, there is a private clinic in a small locality whose upper. There is a patient lying in a room on the floor with a wound on his face. The mask is on, and lots of wires cover the machines. A woman is sitting next to the man who has put a tattoo on his face. She was wearing a mask, and she gently held the man's hand, takes matters into her own hands, and says things are getting worse, and now the situation has worsened a lot. Mayuri is working in Rane industry. Before the situation worsens further, please come to your senses. That woman has snatched everything from Mayuri and has thrown her out of the house. Mayuri wants her property back. She wants that company back which you had built with hard work. But now she has nothing, and she is doing small jobs to get your property back. But the surprising thing is that even if she gets a job, if Vishamba Rane recognizes her somewhere in Rane industry, then it will be very bad. I don't know what Vishamba Rane and Takshak are going to do now, but they should not know the truth about Mayuri. Well, now I am leaving. I cannot stay here for long. If someone sees me, it will be a problem because I have to take a flight from Mumbai only, and I don't want to meet Mayuri on the way. I don't want to show my face to her, but I will keep coming to meet you. I hope that you will wake up early. The woman gets up from her place, and she wipes her tears and leaves the room. She gives some money to the nurse sitting outside and, while keeping the medicine in her hand, she said, "Take care of him and inform me as soon as he regains consciousness." The nurse nods in affirmative, and the woman leaves from there. After getting her hand treated in Takshak's office, Mayuri wanted to return to work, but Kunal Sir sent her back home, saying that her hand is hurt. How will she work all day today? Mayuri did not want to go home, but still she went home, because in reality, her hand had blisters and she was not able to work on the laptop. The next day, Mayuri comes to the office on time. Now her hand was also better than before, but as soon as she enters the lift and comes to her floor, all the people present on the floor start staring at Mayuri. Mayuri smiles at everyone and says good morning, but no one was replying to her good morning. Everyone was looking at her with such disgusted eyes. They were looking at each other as if Mayuri had committed a crime. Mayuri gets shocked as soon as she feels their eyes on her, and while staring at them, she says in her mind, "What has happened to these people?" Then Kiran Didi comes there quickly, and coming in front of Mayuri says, "Mayuri, what have you done? You don't think before doing anything, what have I done?" Mayuri herself is surprised and questions Kiran Didi. Then Kiran Didi beats her head and says, "Whatever you have done, the whole office knows about it. Now go quietly to the new CEO's office. He is calling you, and he is very angry with your act." Mayuri could not understand what Kiran Didi is saying, and Takshak is angry with Mayuri. This is even more surprising. Mayuri has not done anything. Then why is Takshak angry with her? What is happening in her life? Anyway, she has so many problems in her life that there is no need for tension. Mayuri looks up, making a poor face, and remembering Matarani says in her mind, "Mummy, when I came to you and told you that what can be bigger than this in my life now, I was not challenging you. I was just sharing my feelings with you that a lot of bad things are already happening in my life. I don't know why you took that challenge, and now what new trouble have you put in my lap? If you commit a mistake, then it is understandable if you get punished. But here I am being accused without any fault, and I don't even know what I have done. Now I have to face that. I will have to go to the devil's cabin, because I have done something which I do not know, but everyone else knows, and I will be punished for it." "What are you doing, Mum? Will you kill the child?" Mayuri was moving towards Takshak's office in fear. Only she knew what her condition was while taking each step. She had just got a job at such a good position, and now it seems that this job, too, she will lose her job and will have to again waste her day in that call center by selling credit cards to the customers. As soon as Mayuri knocks on Takshak's door, she hears Takshak's deep and scary voice from inside come in. Mayuri enters the cabin nervously, and seeing the atmosphere of the cabin, her condition worsens. There was nothing in the whole cabin except darkness. In the name of light, the dim light coming from the window was helping in seeing something in the room. But the sad thing is that the window panes are also black, due to which the light is not able to come inside completely, looking at this dark room. Mayuri remembers the hotel room of that night when she first saw Takshak in the hotel room. There was no light there, too. It was so dark in the cabin that Mayuri stands at her place and starts looking around the cabin. Then her eyes go to Takshak standing near the window, whose back was towards Mayuri, and Takshak was looking at the city outside through those black glass windows. He did not like the light. That is why he had asked to make this cabin according to his wish. As soon as he senses Mayuri, Takshak's eyes turn a little behind, but he does not look back completely. When Mayuri came to the cabin, she had already smelled her fragrance, because it was the same fragrance which Takshak had felt earlier also. Without turning back, he said, "Sit down." "Sir, what have I done?" Mayuri says, looking at Takshak in a very nervous manner. Then Takshak says to Mayuri in his simple voice, while turning his face towards the window in the same way, "You do not know what you have done. You are really trying to act so ignorant. You are trying as if you don't know what your mistake is." Mayuri gets scared. She was standing in CEO's cabin, and she has done something like this. Takshak was accusing her because of which she was called here, but she did not know what her mistake was. She looked at Takshak in surprise and said, "Sorry, sir, if I have made any mistake, but I do not know why you have called me here." Takshak turned his face a little towards the back and said in his strict voice, "How cleanly you lie, right?" Mayuri is left speechless. She quickly says, "No. Sir, I am not lying." "Yes, I will not even say that I have never lied. I do lie. But at this time I am not lying, and I do not have any reason to lie to you right now. You are my boss. I do not want to put my job in danger by lying to my boss." Takshak turns around immediately and stands in front of Mayuri. Mayuri gets scared seeing him and takes a step back. She gets scared because Takshak looked like a black devil in a black suit. Mayuri had given him the perfect name. Devil. Takshak said softly. Taking a step towards Mayuri, he said, "Do you still consider me your boss? Because after what I have seen, it felt that you do not consider me your boss at all. That is why you said all this to me." Mayuri was not able to understand Takshak's roundabout talks. She gets a little annoyed and says, "Sir, please tell me clearly what I have done so that I know what my mistake is. Everyone in the entire office is looking at me as if I have committed a big crime, and my problem is that I don't even know what I have done. Now standing here in front of you, I feel as if I am a prisoner and I am being sentenced. But at least this prisoner should be told his crime." Mayuri suddenly gets furious and starts speaking in a slightly loud voice in front of Takshak. Takshak's gaze becomes sharp, and he starts staring at Mayuri. He takes a step forward and comes near his table. But the sound of his shoes with every step is increasing the atmosphere. Ravan was making the recipe. Takshak comes to his table and turns on his laptop and turns its screen towards Mayuri. Mayuri slowly bent down and looked at the laptop screen. It was an email that Takshak had received, and when she read what was written on that email, she was shocked, but the story does not end here. After that, Mayuri saw that this email was sent from her laptop. "Flushed, dear new CEO G, you look handsome, but your nature does not match with your personality at all. People like you should be busy giving speeches somewhere else and not in the office. It has not been even a day since you joined the company, and you are talking about changing the rules of this company. How bad your behavior is with people is evident on the first day itself. You have no idea about what is happening in the company and what is not happening. You have your own people for everything, and you have come and sat here in such a big position, as if someone has forcibly made you sit here. Hey, if you don't want to work, then let us do our work. And yes, learn to treat your employees with a little love. Yesterday, coffee fell on my hand, but in return, you did not even pay attention to me. You did not even ask about my well-being after the treatment, whereas that coffee fell on me after seeing you. You should have apologized to me and should have come and cleaned my coffee with your own hands, but you did not even have this much manners. No, on the contrary, I said it in front of everyone. Start the meeting. That meeting was more important than my hand. No one would like to work with a heartless person like you. That is why I also don't want to work with you. I resign from this job." Mayuri Deshmukh, and female Mayuri, after reading such a big mail from her mail ID, was shaken as if she got a strong shock of 440 volts. It was 12 o'clock on Mayuri's face, and Takshak, seeing the pale face of her face, became a sarcastic. With a smile, he tells her that you still have to know what you have done, however, this morning. When Takshak got this email, he was shocked for a moment. As soon as he remembered Mayuri's name, he remembered about Mayuri. He doesn't know her much, but he was not expecting this kind of behavior from Mayuri, but Takshak himself was not sure about this. After all, how could he trust her so soon? Mayuri looks at Takshak with a scared face. She joins both her hands, and while entangling both her fingers, she requests Takshak, saying, "Sir, I have not done this. Please believe me, I have no hand in this. I have not sent this mail. Especially, I will not send it at all when I know how dangerous my boss is." Takshak raises his eyebrow and looks at Mayuri. What does he mean that he is dangerous? Then Mayuri quickly shakes her head and says, No, no. I mean that one was not dangerous. I mean how dangerous you are in terms of business. I don't use such wrong words in real life. So how can I do it on mail? And besides, I need this job very much, and I will never resign on mail, sir. Please believe me, I have not done this. I have not sent this mail. Takshak gets a little relieved after listening to Mayuri. He first thought that maybe Mayuri is not the girl who saved his life, because that night, the attitude of that girl was very gentle and simple, but the way the words were written in the mail. If Mayuri has done this, then she is completely different from the girl who was in the hotel room with Takshak. But now when Mayuri comes to his cabin, Takshak feels the same smell again. Takshak felt that this smell is not of any perfume or anything else, it is a woman's own smell. Mayuri has her own smell. And the second thing is that his truth is visible in Mayuri's eyes. It was visible that the way she was requesting Takshak, her face was telling that she is not lying. Takshak's eyes went to Mayuri's hands, where she was standing in front of him with her hands folded, with both her fingers entangled together. Takshak remembers that yesterday coffee had fallen in Mayuri's hand, and her hands had blisters, and now she is standing in front of him with her hands folded. He stared at Mayuri and said, Put your hands down, you are hurt, and from today onwards, never stand in front of me with folded hands like this. Mayuri slowly opens her hands and stands in front of Takshak with her sad face. Mayuri thought that now she has lost her job, but Takshak was looking at her face very carefully. Her face full of innocence cannot hold any dangerous conspiracy. Although it is not written on someone's face how he is from inside, but Mayuri's eyes were telling her intentions. He thinks something, and says in his mind that if he has not done this, then there is definitely someone who wants to harm Mayuri, and his intentions are very dangerous. This email has been sent using Mayuri's laptop, and he wants Mayuri to leave this company. If it was someone else, I would not have paid so much attention to it, and would have fired that person from the company by now. But this is for that girl who has saved my life. I am sure that it is her. My belief will be confirmed when I get the rest of the evidence. Takshak looks at Mayuri and says, You have 24 hours. Mayuri is left speechless and looks at Takshak in surprise. Takshak starts spinning a pen on his finger and says, You have a full 24 hours to prove your innocence. Go and find the person who has hatched this conspiracy. Mayuri is left stunned and says to Takshak in surprise, I am not a detective or a lawyer in such a big company. How will I prove that I have not done all this? Who will believe me? I believe you, Takshak says, while staring at Mayuri. Mayuri's eyes widen. She stops over Takshak, and his mouth remains open. Takshak stares at Mayuri's big eyes with his calm gaze and says, I believe in you. I am sure. That you have not sent this email, but nothing happens if I believe you. So you have to bring forward the person who has sent this email from your laptop. And how will I do this? Mayuri asks him very sadly. His condition was at its worst right now. Hearing her words, a slight smile came on Takshak's face. He said to Mayuri, For this you have to understand who is the one who will benefit if you leave this company, and for this he must have tried to trap you. Mayuri still could not understand what she has to do. Takshak looks at her in confusion. Then looking at her, he says, You know, Mayuri, if I did not trust you, then what would I have done to you right now? Mayuri tremblingly shook her head in no. Then Takshak looked into Mayuri's eyes with a devil smile on his face. He looks at her and says, in a Rayo way, By now your head would have been separated from your body. Mayuri was standing in front of Takshak in surprise and was thinking about the time Takshak had given her. Seeing the depth of thought on her face, Takshak says, "If you waste time standing here, then how will you catch that culprit?" Mayuri looks at Takshak with even more surprise and says, "But even if I go out, he will not be waiting for me. I don't know who has done all this, and when I don't know, how will I catch him?" Takshak sits comfortably on the chair with his back resting on it, and turning the chair left and right, looking at Mayuri, says, "It is a simple thing. This mail can be sent only by the one who benefits from your loss, and it can be someone with whom you do not get along. Try to remember, did any such incident happen with you in the past days, due to which someone has become your enemy, or you have harmed someone, or there is someone in the office who does not like you? Obviously, he must have done this. Use your mind and search for such a person who can go to this extent to harm you." Then Mayuri remembers something and tries to remember just 2 days ago when Mayuri was preparing the file of last year's profit given by Kunal Sir. Manav had come to her cabin again. He placed a file in front of Mayuri and asked her to sign it, but Mayuri was very busy at that time. She said that she will sign the file later, but Manav angrily told her that he has to sign the file right now. Mayuri was upset with Manav's such behavior. She already had a lot of work, and on top of that, Manav was standing over her head and talking about getting the file signed. Mayuri took the file and had just opened it to read it when Manav said this to her. He snatches the file from her hands and angrily tells her that Mayuri does not need to read this file. Manav has read the file and Mayuri just has to sign it. Mayuri is shocked by his behavior, but she was not an idiot who would sign a paper without knowing about it. She looked angrily at Manav and said that she will not sign this paper until she reads it. Manav was very angry at Mayuri. He got furious at Mayuri and said that if he wants, he can get Mayuri fired from the job in a minute. Mayuri also angrily told Manav that he can do whatever he wants to do, but she will not sign this document until she reads it. Remembering that incident, Mayuri suddenly gets shocked and then quickly looks at Takshak and says, Manav, sir, Account Department, HR. Do you believe me?" Takshak said, looking at Mayuri because he was also shocked by Mayuri's words when he received this mail. Takshak's anger was very much flared up, because if Takshak had not checked this mail first thing in the morning, if this mail had reached grandfather's hands by mistake, what would he have done to Mayuri? Takshak's condition was getting worse just thinking about it. Takshak stared at Mayuri and said, "Have you done something to Manav due to which he wants to take revenge from you?" Mayuri, getting nervous, quickly nods her head in yes and tells Takshak, "He told me that he can fire me from the job in a minute, and why will he fire you from the job in a minute? Will you tell me in detail about this?" Takshak raises one of his eyebrows and questions Mayuri. Mayuri remembers all the acts of Manav and looking at Takshak like a stubborn girl, she said to him in a complaining tone, "He was trying to be nice to me, trying to impress me. How many times he asked me to go for lunch with him and used to roam around me in the office too. I am not from Gatkapar. I am not." Even though I was not able to understand his intentions, I understood very well that the guy was trying to impress me. But when I clearly refused him, he got furious at me, and I don't know what documents he was making me sign that day. But I refused, saying that I will not sign any document without reading it. Then he shouted at me and threatened me that he will fire me from the job in a minute. Takshak was just listening to Mayuri's complaints with surprised eyes. Mayuri was speaking ill of Manav in front of Takshak like a gossiping auntie. Takshak listens to everything she says and, nodding his head, says yes. "Okay, your doubt is justified, but is there anyone else whom you can doubt?" Mayuri thought a lot, and then shaking her head, no, said no. "Apart from this, I am not able to remember anyone who would have any enmity with me." Takshak nods his head yes while thinking something, And after that, looking at Mayuri, he said, "Okay, you go to the medical room. You have blisters on your hands." Mayuri gets surprised hearing his words. In fact, she had blisters on her hands when just a while back she had put blisters on both her hands. When she had tied the blisters on her hands, due to the rubbing of her fingers, red marks had appeared on her blisters, and they had started hurting more. But despite there being so little light in the room, Takshak had seen the blisters on her hands. Mayuri looks at Takshak in surprise, but then she said, "Thank you, sir, but please do I have permission? I want to check the CCTV footage so that I can get some evidence as to who has done this." Takshak, while doing something on his laptop, said to Mayuri, "Okay, I will send a mail to the security head. He will give you a copy of the CCTV. Thank you, sir. I will collect all the evidence and present it in front of you by tomorrow." Saying this, Mayuri left from there. On the other hand, Yug was trying to find something, and Nikhil was also with him. But Nikhil was just standing with his hands folded. After a long time, she asked Yug, "Yug, sir, what are you looking for me?" Yug gets upset and says that Takshak has disturbed my mind. On one hand, he wants the girl who helped him in the hotel room, and on the other hand, he is asking me to find the person who called him from the call center and helped him. Now I am not able to understand where should I find these two people. Nikhil thinks and says that we are trying to recover the CCTV footage of the girl from the hotel. If we get it, then we will come to know about her. But who is this from the call center who helped the boss? And how did you come to know that the boss needs help? Yug told Nikhil everything, that how he got a message and Takshak's location. Along with it, listening to him, Nikhil quickly says that, "Hey, sir, then you should find out about that number from which you got the message. From that number, you will come to know whose number it is, and you can tell the captain about that girl." Yug stared at Nikhil and said, "What do you think, Nikhil? This idea never came to my mind. I knew very well that I can do this. But what should I do? Have you heard that saying that if you try to achieve something, then the whole universe is trying to make it happen for you? But here the opposite is happening with me. I am trying to find something, and the whole universe is trying to keep it away from me." The day Takshaka was lying injured in the hotel room, I had gone to the airport to pick up my grandfather. That day, my phone fell into the water-filled roads of Mumbai outside the airport. I got the phone back, but its data was completely lost. That is why, despite wanting to, I could not call Takshaka and find out about his condition. That girl's number was in my phone, and because of the data being lost, that number also got lost. Nikhil is a little surprised and says, "Sir, isn't this very strange? That girl's number has been deleted from your phone. And after that, the CCTV footage also suddenly disappeared. Don't you think that all these things are connecting to something? Captain is searching for the girl who helped him, but with every next step we are getting further away from that person, let alone reaching her." Yug gets worried and says, "You are right, Nikhil. But what should we do now? I don't even know if we will get that girl or not. But Takshak asks about that girl every day, and he wants to give her reward to him as soon as possible." Nikhil remembers something and says to Yug, "Well, sir, we can find out means I am not 100% sure, but we can try, right? Did the captain ever tell him from which call center the girl called him, or for what purpose she called so that we can get some clues in return?" Yug nods his head and says to Nikhil, "Yes. Takshak said that the girl called for CTB Bank credit card. That's all. He doesn't know anything more because the call got disconnected after that." Hearing the name of CTB Bank, Nikhil remembers something and he says happily, "Sir, something can happen. Look, I am not saying that we will find that girl, but this is a small ray of light. If it works, then maybe we will find that girl." Yug looked at Nikhil with surprise and said to him, "What do you want to say? Say it clearly." Nikhil quickly says, "Yug sir, my girlfriend Shruti works as a receptionist in CTB call center, and this CTB call center is a part of our last year merged company." Yug, immediately. He gets surprised and says, "Are you saying right? Your girlfriend is working as a receptionist in CTB call center. If this is the case, then what are you thinking? Quickly call him and tell him that we want to know about that girl." Nikhil call. Yug was about to take it out when his phone rings. Yug looks at his phone in surprise. It was Takshak's call. As soon as Takshak picked up the phone, Takshak said something to him. Yug's face hardens, and he quickly puts down the phone and tells Nikhil that, "Nikhil, hurry up, we have to go somewhere." Nikhil quickly sits in the car with Yug and leaves with the bodyguard. Actually, Takshak had asked him to bring Manav. As soon as Yug and Nikhil reach Manav's building, they search every corner of his flat, but they don't find Manav anywhere. Takshak, sitting in his office cabin, was waiting for the call in anger, and his anger was so high that if Manav was in front of him at this time, he would have killed him. As soon as his phone rings and Yug calls, he immediately picks up the phone and says, "Did you find that scoundrel?" Takshak, there is no one in his flat. This flat is completely empty. Manav is not here. Nikhil told Takshak, then Takshak slamming his hands on the mess in anger. He says, "Find him. Find out where he has gone. I want that bastard alive at any cost." Mayuri suspects that Manav has done this cheap act to trap her, and if this turns out to be true, then I will kill that bastard. You don't know, Yug, how scared Mayuri was. I have seen her scared face. Thank you for visiting our channel. Now listen further. In the next chapter 5, please subscribe our channel and set the bell icon to all so that we can reach you all the parts of the story. Thank you.